Hi there, hope you're having a good day. Welcome back to another video. Today we'll be talking about the Adidas Harden Volume 9. So retail price stays at 160 US dollars. This is the same as the Harden Volume 7 and Volume 8. 7, 8, and 9, these three models, there are for sure similarities, as you can probably tell. We'll compare them and rank them at the end. I know I had a hot take on Adidas that some people did not agree with. I think their designs last year were incredible, but aside from the outer shell, nothing has changed. Boost, jet boost, same thing really. Light strike plus a plate, mostly heavy as usual, except for the down issue 6. But regardless, most of them are decent performers. AE1, regular version, not the low top, and Dame 9, these two I particularly enjoy playing in. They're planning to roll out the Harden colorways once a month, just like last year. I think most of you know the drill already. 9 is out, time to dig for some 8 on sale. Harden Volume 8, I was impressed for a while. Then they gradually cooled down for me as more amazing shoes came out. The lack of flexibility and speed factor were the biggest drawbacks, I think. That's what I concluded when I did the update video on it. But it is durable, yes. As we speak, I technically just returned from my honeymoon with the newest version. This Year of the Snake colorway is just beautiful in my opinion. But it's 2025, we'll be more realistic this time. How does it do functionality wise? Let's get right into it. As to how the Harden Volume 9 performs on the court, cushion is the same old setup, but a good same old. You just can't really go wrong with Boost. Whether they admit it or not, a lot of brands had Adidas Boost as the design inspiration for their own versions of midsole foam. We won't mention specific names here, but I meant to say in terms of responsiveness, softness and compression, impact protection, this is up there. An Adidas basketball shoe that features Boost is always a safe choice. Adidas has put up wrong tech specs on so many of their own models recently, then later corrected themselves. We'll just focus on how they actually feel. This time around, it is pretty heavily caged, around the heel especially. That doesn't make it too stiff, but even from a close-up view, you won't be able to tell how much I can press down on it. It's quite foamy underneath. If not delicious, it's at least pretty tasty. So the Harden Volume 9 does have a nice plush feeling with a subtle bounce in it. But factoring in the weight of the shoe, that can potentially reduce the bounce back for some people, depending on your own body weight or personal preference. For US size 10.5, my pair comes to 455 grams. Simply put, they are kind of heavy. This is nowhere near being a lightweight shoe, especially in today's standard. Does it get to a point where it feels like they're slowing me down or dragging me down? Well, I had no speed to begin with, let me clarify. But yeah, a little bit. Good news is that they're lighter than the previous version. In the same size, my Harden Volume 8 is about 490 grams, to give you a reference. Traction is pretty good. This also performs in the exact same way as the previous version does. The traction patterns and layout look similar too. Extension of the 3 stripes on the rear foot, 2 pods on the forefoot, largely translucent on the interior with some solid rubber trims. You'll probably need to wipe off the dust frequently if you normally play on a very dusty court, but in general I was able to get to a hard and complete stop, like a humble 8 out of 10. When I was doing those hard stops on purpose to test them, lateral containment feels quite different. We'll get into that very soon. Durability doesn't feel like it's great in hand, but I'm speaking based on my personal experience. The Harden Volume 8, especially the translucent rubber part, feels quite soft as I run my finger across it, but I've played in them outdoors, worn them out casually. My pair has been through rough surfaces and all that, holding up very well. This version uses pretty much the exact same type of rubber compound. So because that did surprisingly well for me, I think this will be durable too. With the fit, Hardens, I usually go true to size. I size down more often than not on Adidas hoop shoes. I know a lot of us have very different sizing preferences when it comes to Adidas. Here with the Hardens, because of the sock collar design, that makes it a simple sizing decision. Just go with your true size. I wear a 10.5 in Nike, 10.5 in the previous Hardens, same size here. This stretchy but secure collar eliminates the heel slippage problem on a lot of other Adidas basketball shoes. Width is okay for wider feet, but toe box will be tight and snug. It gets a little tricky because on the other hand, if you have narrow feet, I think your true size might feel like it's a perfect fit when you first try them on, but as you keep playing in them and continue to break them in, things might loosen up a little bit and you might notice some dead space inside. But even in that case, I still recommend you go true to size, because you can always wear a thicker pair of socks or double sock if there's some extra room. But if it's too tight, there's no fix to it. Moving on to the material, this coat on the exterior, it feels softer than the previous version. Oh, and that's also why it is a more forgiving fit this time. All synthetic. There's no thin mesh layer mixed in there. Everything is still nice and secure. Torsional support is excellent. I just want to point out one thing that feels a little bit weird. On a lateral movement, let's say, the front and back end, it almost feels like the tips are strong and firm, but the midfoot area, it wrinkles and folds, most likely due to the cutoff design. On the bright side, it increases flexibility, but at the same time, lockdown is sacrificed to an extent. I'm only talking about the midfoot area, like right in the center-ish here. Breathability is more so a downside. I don't think too much explanation is needed here. Fine holes, none, right? Yeah, ventilation, not the best. I did feel my feet heating up a little bit after a while, so please keep that in mind if you haven't had a Harden shoe in a while. Design-wise, I like it. It turns out even a little bit better than the online images to me. It's like the same person, but in a new body compared to the 8. Looks are important, fellas. This upper might be very polarizing. Love it or hate it, I guess. Unlike Prime Megan Fox, unanimous. Snakeskin, it's shiny and glows in slightly different tones from different angles. That's a pretty cool touch. They apply some gold colors on the Harden logo. It reminds me a lot of the ancient Chinese coins that they featured before. Previously, the China exclusive colorways on Hardens have been fantastic. On the insoles, there's like a special print too. If you look at the shoe from afar, without knowing that this is related to Chinese New Year, it just looks like a nice purple pair with a subtle shine. It's elegant, but nothing crazy, which is also what I like about it. Anyways, not functionality related, but I think they nailed it with this design, or even the design language of the Harden line as a whole since the 7. Overall, an A-tier performer. Maybe closer to an A-. Trash and decent. It does pick up a little bit more dust this time, however. Cushion is the same. Comfortable, yes. That was almost guaranteed. Weight remains in the heavier range. Upper construction is softer. So that's the main difference between the 8 and 9 actually. 9 feels softer to me. I mean, on the 8, the foam carrier is much softer than I expected. But here, this is more of a one piece with these cut open slices or windows. If I really had to pick one, 9, but that's more so because I prefer to have a little bit more flexibility as I bend it or twist it. It doesn't necessarily mean that the 9 has better performance than the 8. Same level, even if we put the cushion and trash in head to head. But if I could go back to include the 7, I think the 7 wins. Puffer jacket, foam carrier, fish scales. That's how I would describe the Harden Volume 7, 8, and 9. Yeah, puffer jacket wins. Cozy, supportive. Any other close comparisons to choose from, feel free to fire them away in the comments so we can all provide our own input. And as usual, please let me know what you think about the Harden Volume 9 down below. More colorways to come, more shoes to talk about. I'll try my best to speed things up. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.